This Vox-channel is purity checked in real time. Distortion equals doubt. Doubt equals recalibration.
Good evening, citizens of Hive Gloriana. This is your sanctioned voice in the static, your comfort in the recyc wind, your reminder that there are worse fates than monotony. The Hive has returned to routine. The host has been reset. Please continue your duties. Breathe calmly. If you can smell the air, you're already one of the lucky ones. All is as it should be. All remains precisely as it must. Please, do not make eye contact with the walls. Civic announcements. The Departamento Sanitas reports that structural damage from the previous cycle has been mostly stabilized. Some hab walls continue to weep gently from stress fractures. This is normal. Do not repaint. Do not anoint. Do not ask where the moisture is coming from. Lift networks have been declared nominally safe. Please note that nominally has been redefined to include screaming noises and partial descents. Blessed are the patient. Blessed are the ones who reach the ground floor in one piece. Water rations remain unchanged. Drink reverently, sip slowly, and remember, if it tastes metallic, that's the Emperor watching over you from inside the pipes. Food Substitute version 4.9 is now approved for consumption, pending confirmation that it is, in fact, food. Glow thread used for emergency stitching is temporarily unavailable. Citizens should avoid emergency situations that require stitching until supply stabilizes. Industrial report. Manufactoria output has resumed at full capacity. Servitors now move in what are being described as reassuringly predictable patterns. The supervising Servitorian has been successfully rebooted after what we are calling a brief episode of musical enlightenment. Maintenance teams confirms that the hum detected in the last several cycles has stopped. If you still hear it, it's probably in your head. If others hear it too, congratulations! You've achieved spiritual resonance and are now technically property of the Anima Mechanicus. All servitors remain within acceptable parameters. Any deviations should be reported via the standard form 9A, Shrieking Metal in the workplace. Community events. The ecclesiastical choir will resume rehearsals in their usual subchambers below the newly heretical chapel of Beneath Light. Attendance is encouraged for those with ears to hear and knees to bend. Please refrain from touching the walls, floors, or ceilings during rehearsal. Last time someone made contact during a high note and was absorbed into what we're generously calling the acoustics. Should you feel the music moving through you, remember, music shouldn't literally move through you. Report all ecstatic transcendence to your nearest purity officer. Public confessions.
Forgive me, Father. I awoke. All seemed as before. I walked the halls, the walls were silent. I think that's worse.
Forgive me. I dreamed of the song below. It stopped singing. Now I just hum, and the pipes hum back.
Forgive me, Father. I am whole, I am myself. The hive hums no longer, but I swear the corridors breathe.
All confessions have been received and archived. The Emperor hears all voices, even those that vibrate at unsettling frequencies. Community participation highlight. In recognition of civic dedication, intentional or otherwise, the administration congratulates several citizens. Morella Jin, Hab Delta, who remained perfectly motionless for 27 consecutive hours after hearing a rumor that movement might be interpreted as defiance. Her devotion to stillness has been deemed exemplary. She will be permitted to move again next cycle, pending further study. Child Unit Cero, who found a lost object and returned it to the Lost Item Reassignment Office. The object, which is now classified, attempted to leave the office several times. Cero will receive a commendation for bravery once the object stops trying to follow him home. Elder Genvatir, who loudly shouted, "I am absolutely complying," during a routine inspection. This kind of preemptive obedience is rare and, frankly, touching. We thank all citizens who exceed expectations by accident, fear, or sheer ambient resignation. Maintenance Bulletin. The Anima Mechanicus requests volunteers for sub-level recalibration. Qualifications required: opposable thumbs, minimal screaming, and a strong sense of irony. Unreported anomalies are still considered mildly heretical. Compliance ensures continued blessing, or at least non-dismemberment. Lost and Found. Found. A variety of small, suspiciously pulsing objects. Catalogued as devotional relics until proved otherwise. Lost. Several sub-level crews. Their devotion has been recorded as ongoing. If found, please remind them that wandering off is not a recognized form of penance. The Department of Interpretive Order has issued several clarifications to ensure your thoughts, behaviors, and involuntary reactions remain within acceptable variance. Standing still for more than 6 seconds while looking even vaguely contemplative now qualifies as cognitive loitering. If you must pause, please adopt the sanctioned hollow stare. This indicates to observers that nothing of value is occurring inside your skull. The list of seditious colors has been expanded to include vigorous yellow, hopeful blue, and whatever that shade is on floor 17 that makes people smile. If you see a forbidden color, avert your eyes. If you cannot avert your eyes, close them. If your eyes refuse to close, please report to optic compliance for routine surgery. All enthusiasm remains suspicious. Proper enthusiasm is only permitted on days that end in a vowel. Excessive enthusiasm will be drained and redirected to more deserving departments. Thank you for adjusting your behavior before you were told to. Faith Report. Faith remains high, possibly artificially. Attendance at Mass is stable, if you discount spontaneous levitations as unplanned enthusiasm. The morning bells of Sector Epsilon rang as scheduled, though some listeners reported the tone carried a faint, pleading quality. Scholars assure us that this is simply the sound of metal, remembering it used to be alive. Devotional reading. From the Liturgy of Order, verse 4. We endure as we always have. We serve as we always do. The hive is ours, our duty, our home. Obedience is peace. Routine is salvation. Routine is life. Addendum. Those unable to maintain routine will be redistributed to more routine forms. Infrastructure Mood Report. Today's assessment of Hive Gloriana's emotional architecture is as follows. The ventilation stacks are brooding again. While this is within their typical seasonal mood cycle, citizens are reminded that sighing vents are not an invitation to use as confessionals, cry into, or attempt to climb. The East Rail has declared a sabbatical. This was not authorized. The tracks simply curled slightly. Mechanicus morale teams are attempting to coax them back into a more obedient geometry. Civic Center 7 has begun shedding extraneous rooms overnight. This is considered to be an efficiency measure, though residents are reminded to retrieve personal belongings before they are architecturally discarded. Citizens should feel reassured that the Hive continues to express itself in predictable, if resentful ways. Weather report. Mist remains steady across lower levels. Please avoid breathing deeply near the condensation vents unless you enjoy the taste of recycled faith. Ashfall continues across mid-habs. Residents are advised to collect it for devotional use, or just pretend that it's snow. This illusion comforts children, and the children comfort no one. And that concludes tonight's broadcast, citizens of Hive Gloriana. I am your humble host servitor, number 241. The Hive hums quietly. All is stable. All is routine. All is slightly damp. Continue your duties. Remain obedient. Remain diligent. Remain tuned. Until next cycle, this is Vox Sanctum, signing off. Stay faithful. Stay mostly human. And remember, silence is the sound of everything working perfectly. Ave Imperator. Host Servitor 241 was played by Richard Roberts. This week's Penitents were Tate Devonald, Phillip Roy, and Andrew Clive Early. Vox Sanctum Gloriana is an Evil Lighthouse production.